Not okay, that's how we roll. Digging deep, no self-control. Truths untold, we're on patrol. Not okay, but that's just fine. Press play now, it's podcast time.
All right, we're back again here with Michael and myself. Hopefully, this will be a real regular occurrence. So we have both been in leadership.
Yeah.
All right. We've both also been the low man on the totem pole.
Yeah, definitely.
I know I've had some bad bosses. I'm sure you've had some bad bosses.
Mhm.
And kind of what we want to get into today is like what, in our opinion, makes a good leader or boss. You know, for instance, when I think of bad bosses, right? And this person I would actually still consider a friend, and they know that I think that they were the worst boss I've ever had.
I think it happens I do
Like,
think it happens that way sometimes,
Yeah.
though. I think. Well, I think it's they like don't mix business with pleasure, that kind of thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's part of that.
Yeah, it is. But also, it's just because someone is a good person,
Yeah.
right? And they have qualities that make them a good friend.
Yeah.
That does not translate to boss.
Sure. Yeah.
There is characteristics of leadership that can really make a job or where you work just a way better place to work and benefit the company.
Yeah.
Because like that's the balance you're trying to find is what am I doing as the leader that benefits the company and benefits the people that work underneath me?
Yeah. Well, I think even more so to that. Like, obviously, you want to benefit the company, but
Mhm.
I think because like I always botch sayings, but it's like they say something like, people don't leave bad businesses or bad jobs, or
Yeah.
they leave bad leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the deal. Is like I think if people understood more, I think we've even had this conversation before. Is like if businesses understood more that they cared about the people more,
Yeah.
the businesses would do better.
Yeah.
Because most of us are willing to pay a little bit more
Mhm.
when doing certain things or having to get certain services or anything like that.
Yep.
If the customer service is good, and I think the same thing can be applied when it comes to the people that work there.
Yeah.
I think people will sometimes take a little less pay,
Mhm.
maybe even work a little harder if the people they work for they actually care for. And I think that's one of the problems with leadership sometimes
Yeah.
is that they care more about productivity or whatever thing is passed down from the top,
Mhm.
more than the people that's underneath it, or even if those things are even physically able to be done.
Yeah. Well, and also, especially, so when I think about bosses in like the retail space,
Yeah.
right? If your employees wouldn't suggest other people shop there or go there for business,
Yeah,
like what makes you think you're going to succeed at that point?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Right? If your workers are crashing the place that they work for, that's not good in retail.
Yeah.
It doesn't so much affect like industrial plants and like
Yeah.
civil service people and stuff like that. Like,
Mhm.
cause like it's kind of just a little bit different world. But the idea that you would not necessarily harm, that you wouldn't care about the people working for you,
Yeah.
and you would put the business so far above the people is going to make a business fail.
Yeah. And I think that's what happens a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, because I was talking to a friend about this too, because of the failings of GameStop
Yeah.
right now.
Dude.
And I think that's one of the problems with it, because I remember I did also work for GameStop
Mhm.
back in the days, but I think one of the problems with GameStop is I remember going into a GameStop
Mhm.
and people engaging you almost immediately.
Yeah.
Which kind of happens now, sort of. But I remember this GameStop's closing now because they're all closing.
Mhm.
But the other few months back before it closed, I went to a GameStop and asked a guy for one of the limited edition controllers that were about to come out.
Yeah. Yeah, but you
And-
felt like an inconvenience.
Yeah, he was not like felt like I absolutely was an inconvenience that I asked him if they were going to get one in,
Mhm.
and he was like, I don't know. I was like,
Yeah.
Like this is literally your job. Like
Yep.
you don't even have to make a sale. I am trying to buy this controller right now.
Yeah.
All I need to do is, or all you need to do is tell me if you are
Mhm.
going to get one or order one so that
Yeah.
I can buy it.
Yeah.
And because I also have a thing where it's like, I want physical stores to not go away.
Me either.
I love
Yeah,
physical stores.
I do too.
I want physical stores to be around,
Mhm.
especially physical stores like GameStop, where I can walk
Mhm.
into, just walk around and
Mhm.
just love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not happening anymore because nobody wants to go out in physical stores because I guess
Mhm.
people are afraid of people now.
Yeah. So when you think of a good boss or leader,
Yeah.
all right, what are some characteristics that you think about?
Well, so I do feel like those could be two different things,
Mhm.
two different bosses
Like,
and different leaders. But, and I
yeah,
guess maybe because of the military background,
right,
sort of it, because I wouldn't particularly call some leaders bosses and some bosses leaders.
right.
And I think,
And that is true. I mean, there, especially depending on the size of the organization,
yeah,
you're going to have different levels of leadership and
yeah, and,
like,
and at some points of it too, I don't know if some of the bosses you want particularly be leaders, or at least
right,
you don't want them to have as much contact with people
right.
because their job,
Mhm.
doesn't really entail that they need to be or to have much personal interactions. But so I'll just, I guess, go for leader, and I think one of the most important things person is trustworthy.
Mhm.
And I think that is probably the biggest deal for any type of leader, whether you're liked or not liked or
Yeah.
anything like that. Is like if your employees know
Mhm.
that what you say is absolutely how you feel and what you're doing,
Yep.
and like and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can take from that. Like if
Mhm.
I know that I like even if I don't like you, if I know what you say is the truth,
Yeah.
I can work with that. I can work with that with almost any type of, leadership. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I don't like how this dude operates,
Yep.
but I know how he operates. And
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go off of that.
You know, you know the guidelines in which you're operating in.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's no vagueness to that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
and I've definitely worked under people who it's like they almost intentionally make vague rules,
oh yeah.
and no one knows if they're breaking the rules or not.
Yeah.
And it's like you're walking on eggshells everywhere because you like people get in trouble, and you're like, well, what exactly did they
Yeah.
get in trouble for? Like,
oh
well, yeah.
It's like, no, I need to know so
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Exactly. It's almost like you didn't like that person, so you just wrote them up, or like you just did
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, and that's part of what I was meaning too. Is like
Mhm.
not so much just like the vagueness of rules or anything, but like when you have one person wrote up for one thing and another
For
person
sure.
wrote up for something else, or you praise one person for
Yeah.
doing the exact same thing that another person got in trouble for.
For it. Yeah.
And it's like, look, I don't even know what's going on right
Mhm.
now. Like I don't know how to do my job well or do it poorly.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they're all the same thing.
Yep. So you got to have a reasonable standard. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the because like there are many. I've had several jobs, and I've worked under like bosses or people who were in charge or managers, and they weren't likable people.
Yeah.
Okay. Like never in a million years am I hanging out with that person.
Mhm.
Like they're miserable.
Yeah.
But like they were good at managing.
Yeah, well, and that's the other thing that I was, talking about just a second ago is like the
Mhm.
difference between a boss and a leader.
Yeah.
And I believe that, especially for businesses, like
Mhm.
you have to have a good boss.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those bosses make people very upset,
Mhm.
and you're probably not going to like them because
Yeah.
there's certain things that the job has to have, like being in the infantry
Mhm.
with some of the ways that those things happen is like, well, we have to have people that's going to stay up overnight. We
Mhm.
got to have people that's going to, you got to do, I can't even think of what it's called now, but you got to have people that, like, again, that stay up overnight, that's going to pull security
Yep.
at the middle of the night. You have to have a certain amount of people to do that and make sure that everybody's safe.
Mhm.
And you're going to have to make people mad by doing that.
Yes.
Because everybody wants to sleep during those times.
Exactly.
And everybody's not going to be able to sleep. And sometimes no one gets to sleep.
Right. Yeah, and it's and I think
Fire guard.
Fire guard, yeah. And I think this gets kind of to like there's different levels of leadership depending on the industry that you're in,
Yeah.
right? Like a middle manager, in my opinion, like one of the best qualities of middle manager is they kind of get to be the nice guy when the boss is being the bad guy, or like
you have to be the person that walks in.
yeah, like the boss gets to make the hard decision, and then the manager's like, "Oh, I know it sucks."
you know
like,
what, you know what I'll do.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I think like a really important thing, and this is across all of them, is like the workers or the people who aren't in the leadership positions, they have to feel like the management and the leaders want them to succeed.
Yeah.
As much as the environment that they are in, like the company or the organization. And when leaders get checked out, you just get really bad turnover rates. You get like people who are disgruntled. And I would rather have a high turnover rate than a bunch of disgruntled workers that just refuse to leave. But it's,
I guess either way. I guess just with the high turnover rate with new people, man, new people and jobs, and I guess it just really depends on the type of job that it is anyway. Because there's some jobs that I guess people aren't really that big of a problem, like in retail or something.
Right.
New people are going to be new people. All you got to do is just want them to register or something.
Yeah. Have you ever had a manager that was never wrong? Like,
I've had managers before that thought they were never wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? Like when you come across, and I think a lot of people in leadership forget this. When you're in charge, it doesn't mean that you know everything, or that you're the best at everything.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's just going to mean that you have that position and nothing else.
Yeah,
like it means that either maybe it means longevity. Maybe it means you're in the right place at the right time. Maybe you just knew the right people. But it never means that everything or you're the perfect person. But I will say, having been in that position a couple of times too, though, it does feel like people want you to be that, which is an added pressure.
I think that so when people don't know, they want you to have the answer.
Yeah.
Right. But a big part of that, and I know that I have been relatively good at this, is like being confident that I can find the answer.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really the important part. It's not so much that you know everything, but that you can find out how to know most things. And if not, then you have the ability to it sometimes, and use previous experiences for this sort of thing. Because like even in retail, it's like, all right, well, I don't somebody brings you something that doesn't have a price tag on it.
Yeah,
and everybody just freezes and freaks out.
Yeah,
it's like, wait, hold on, like that product has a similar product that works this much.
Yeah,
and so we'll just charge you that much, or well, I do remember, what we call that, and so I can look that up on a computer or something like that. Like the ability to work it out, and I think it's an important part of that. Yeah.
And because like I don't know that people expect the leaders to have all the answers, right?
I think that I do think that
you
is
do?
an expectation from not from most people probably,
Yeah.
but I do think, especially when it comes to like new employees.
Yes.
And
so I would say with like basic knowledge, that's definitely true. Like if you are in leadership, you better have the basics down.
Yeah.
Right. You better be able to tell people how to get into like the new hire portal and this is how, we sweep the floor here. This is like, whatever, like, like you do have to know the core principles of the job. But like, I don't think that the people would expect the leader to come into a unique situation and automatically have the answer.
I still think that with the employees, I still do.
You think so?
I still think like newer or more or just inexperienced people, I still feel like they have that expectation still.
Yeah.
Of like, especially like and this even goes from not even just like bosses or managers or anything, but I think it even goes for like a new employee to an experienced employee, or a younger employee to an older employee. Is I think like even if they got hired at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that there's that sort of an expectation that comes because well, for one, everyone just needs somebody to lean on. Well,
Yeah.
most people do, not everybody. Some people don't like it.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people will look, especially like their immediate bosses,
Mhm.
they'll look to them as their, hey, like you've been working here at least long enough to be
Yeah.
a boss, so you have to know
Mhm.
how to do this thing. Because I don't think a lot of people look at some of the situations and think,
Mhm.
hey, this is an outlaw. Like this is a super rare
Mhm.
instance. I
Right.
think a lot of those people probably look at those situations and
Yeah.
say, this is an outlying situation, but this person's likely have already experienced it because they've been working here
You're
for
so
at
long.
least a year.
Yeah. I, I don't know. I don't know that a new employee or someone new to a position would see the difference in a manager knowing how to fix it and a manager confidently finding the answer quickly.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's even really a practical difference in the two.
Okay.
Like I get the difference and I get what
Mhm.
you're saying, but
Right.
I think the expectation from the new employee or just a subordinate in general
Mhm.
is the same exact expectation. The expectation is
Mhm.
that I can take anything I have to
Mhm.
this person and we get a solution.
Yeah.
And I think practically that's going to be the same. It's going to present itself the same, and probably even presented itself in the same sort of word,
Right.
and probably even but having the different, I guess, root cause of whether or not they think that you know everything,
Mhm.
or if they just think that you can find out everything.
Mhm. So let me ask you this. Let's say, so if we get outside of retail, let's say we get into more of like a specialty field, like an engineering job
Yeah.
or somewhere where you're not necessarily hiring people new to the
Yeah.
position, but probably like new to the company,
Yeah.
right? Do you think that a new employee to a company would look down on a supervisor that went to them for an answer that maybe they hadn't experienced before? Like, let's say hypothetically, like this engineering firm hired a guy that specialized in suspension bridges, right?
Yeah, and then
And
the boss came to the guy and was like,
like,
"Hey,
hey,
man, this suspension bridge is kind of weird.
yeah,
Yeah, can I
and
get your
like,
help?"
yeah,
I
like,
think that'll. I think actually, well, I think this is a personality question, honestly.
yeah, it is 100% a personality question.
And I think the type of person that would become an engineer
Hmm.
would probably be more. Well, man, that's a really difficult question now. Like trying to think
Hmm.
about it because I think it just depends
Hmm.
because I've been in those sort of situations and I would have respect for the person.
Hmm.
But I've also been in those situations and lost respect for the person because I'm like, there's no
Well,
way you don't know
that.
this.
Yeah, it 100% depends on the question being
Yeah.
asked, right? Like if it's like common knowledge in the field that you're in, and
Yeah.
everyone should know this, right?
Yeah.
Then you're definitely going to lose respect for that person.
Yeah. But I also think it just depends on how the questions presented maybe too.
Mm.
Or and maybe the background of like if I like the
Mhm.
person beforehand or not too.
That's true.
Because I think that even if it's a simple question,
Mhm.
that like like it's basic knowledge, and I already like the person,
Yeah.
and came to me, then I would think that okay, because most likely if I like them, that means
Mhm.
they're probably competent as a person,
Right.
and the reason they came to me is maybe not because they didn't know the answer to this question, but maybe that question presenting itself differently
Mhm.
than we usually come across it, and I recognize that, but that person is recognizing.
Right.
And and also because I like the person, like we all do with anybody
Mhm.
that we like, we tend to give them a little bit more wiggle room when it comes
Yeah.
to.
See, and I think I have a little bit of a different philosophy than you on this,
Yeah.
because when you come into projects or uh, very skilled labor or just very very hyper specific
Yeah.
jobs, and this spreads out of it a little bit, but if you were to ask me what I think that leader should look like, it's someone who's almost a better group organizer.
Yeah.
Right. And who has a general knowledge of everybody's work.
Yeah.
But knows who is individually strong at different things and is able to
Yeah.
put that stuff put those people together in the right way.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of people who would never admit that they were wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
I've met people, the same.
And being a leader who doesn't know where they're not strong, I think is worse than a leader who comes across weak. That makes sense.
It makes sense, but I don't know if I agree.
Okay.
I think they might be just as equally poisonous.
Yeah.
Because and again, this might be the difference between some of
Mhm.
our backgrounds of
Mhm.
mostly me not being like in trade jobs or anything like that. Most
Yeah.
of mine are military or paramilitary or
Mhm.
just retail jobs.
Right.
And I think because we all hate the boss
Mhm.
that doesn't have a spine.
Yeah.
Like no one likes that boss. Like
Mhm.
everyone loves having that boss to pick on because
Yeah.
you get to usually do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But when it's time to do the things you need to do,
Yeah.
no, it doesn't get done because the boss doesn't have a spine, and
Right.
usually that boss is usually overworking him or
Yeah.
herself.
Okay, so I think we may be talking about two different things.
Maybe not.
Because what I'm saying is I would rather have a boss who is willing to say he's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Not necessarily weak. I think weak was the wrong word.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I would rather have a boss that says he's wrong or he doesn't know than a boss who is overly confident in their wrong answers.
Yeah. But that's like saying that there's a difference between something that's good and bad.
Right.
Like a person that can admit when he's wrong is a good thing. Like
Yeah.
that's like I don't think anybody's gonna say that except for maybe that person that's never wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that's just a good thing. And then a
Mhm.
person being overly confident in their answers and never being wrong is just bad. Like that's just a bad thing. Like,
It is
that's
just a
how
bad thing.
bad things happen.
Yeah.
That's like in even in your field, that's how
Mhm.
people die. Like,
Oh, 100%.
like you thinking you know what you're doing, knowing that you don't know what you're doing, and not
Yeah.
asking people how to do it
Oh,
is literally how you die.
it is. I will say that now that I'm more in the civil service world,
Yeah.
Leadership looks completely different than in private industry. Like paramilitary leadership is a completely different animal than.
But it's also a lot easier to get bad.
It really is, and so that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
I would say that paramilitary organizations are really good as long as, like, at organizing leadership, as long as there's enough selection to choose from.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem. I think there just never is.
Yeah.
Because I think at least I've noticed this in the last few years. I don't think it's been this way my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the last few years, I think because I don't even know. So when I was first in the military, there was this sort of understanding that, actually regulations that you would have to be certain ranks for a certain amount of time before you even eligible.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously those rules and regulations in place. But there would also be these sort of general ideas that people wouldn't get promoted until time after that.
Yeah.
And very rarely people getting promoted at the bare minimum this time that you could be.
Right.
But
it took an exceptional person.
Yeah. You'd have to be like, come out, spit out of the womb, being, the greatest leader in the world kind of thing. And but I think that expectation is sort of over.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people are being taught and preached upon that be promoted the second you have the eligibility to.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a good thing when it comes to money because, you make more money when you're promoted typically. But I think the bad thing about that, though, is that we like, and everybody talks about it, about how that person should have been.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's a good guy, and I think he will be a good
leader, but he's not there yet.
Yeah,
he's not
but
there
he should
yet.
have given it a couple more years.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, and I think that's one of the problems and I think part of the problem too, like the whole I want to be an adult thing.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody wants to be an adult until you realize you don't get to take naps anymore. Or or you have to pay your own bills.
Yeah.
And I think
Uh-huh.
and it's the same sort of thing with leadership. And
Mhm.
it's like there's nothing wrong
Mhm.
with if you can get promoted at 4 years,
Yeah.
wait till 6.
Yeah.
That position's not going to go away.
Um, yeah, I can definitely see that. I think the issue that a lot of civil service jobs are having right now, though, is the lack of people,
Yeah.
and like the positions come open, and they can't leave the positions unfilled.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they have to promote people. But I think that's part of the problem
Mhm.
too, is that need.
Mhm.
But I think in some of my experiences for that, I feel like too though, is like those people that were in that position left, obviously, for either they
Right.
got promoted or they just
Mhm.
left out of the organization. But I think the ones that left out of the organization is part of the problem. And I think that's one of the things that we're not looking at
Mhm.
is is again, like I said, there's a few jobs that I know of that like they're leaving out of organizations for almost all the same reasons,
Mhm.
but those organizations aren't in and saying, okay,
Okay.
10 years ago,
Mhm.
none of these positions were leaving like this.
Right, and now
We
they are.
didn't have this, hurt
Mhm.
for, people in general.
Right.
Why do people not want to be here anymore?
Yeah.
And I don't think people are saying that enough. And they're just saying, I'm not the problem. It's like the whole
Mhm.
the whole Mimi, what do you call that, the Simpsons dude, when he's like, I'm not the problem, it's the young people that's
Yeah.
the problem. It's like it's exactly like that. It's like
Yeah.
they're not saying that, they're
Mhm.
looking at these people that are on the outside or the people that's leaving this organization the
Mhm.
problem, and now I'm fixing that problem. And it's like, maybe not.
So I think this is a new issue, and I don't think that a lot of places have figured out how to deal with the turnover rate.
Yeah.
Because like at least in the firefighting world, there was almost zero turnover rate
Yeah.
15 years ago. Like people people didn't leave fire departments. They just they stayed there. Like I remember whenever I was 19, I wanted to be a firefighter, and the guy just told me it's not worth your time applying. We have we're not hiring anybody, and you don't know anybody. And I'm like, okay,
Makes
like,
sense. Yeah.
like
I
okay,
got you. I got
like
you.
which is, I mean, another issue.
Mhm.
But now the issue is anybody can get hired as a firefighter,
Yeah, the same way with police, man.
and it's like,
Yeah.
and it creates issues when your higher ups are leaving, because now you're having to promote people who aren't ready to be leaders.
Yeah.
And like you said, they are capable of it.
Mhm.
Capable of it. They're just, they lack the experience. And like when you're thrust into a leadership position for the first time, you can tear apart your image so fast if
Yeah.
you can't find the right level of authority.
Well, and like not even finding the right level of authority. If you just don't know what you're doing,
Mhm.
then because like it's just like I guess sort of what you were even getting at.
Mhm.
A lot of it is image.
Mhm.
Is like is how much you can or how you carry yourself in a lot of these instances.
Yeah.
How confident you are being able to, like you said, plan,
Mhm.
push things to the side, take care of the things that you need to take care of,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And yeah, I do agree that part of the problem is that the organizations themselves
Mhm.
is forcing an issue
Mhm.
of we don't we can't not have,
Yeah.
we cannot have managers.
Yeah.
Everyone can't be at the
Mhm.
same level on the bottom until
Yep.
it's
Exactly.
because the organization in itself isn't going to be able to wait for it.
Yeah.
But there's a level too of like because going back sort of to money, a lot of those people that are leaving,
Mhm.
they'll stay if you give them more money.
Yeah.
Like almost all
Mhm.
all of
them.
those
Mhm.
situations, you say, okay,
Mhm.
I'll give you another $200, something like that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I'm probably not going to get that anywhere else, and I really didn't want to do this. Or we're like, hey,
Mhm.
you stay here for 4 or 5 more months.
Yeah.
Train this person up. We'll give
Mhm.
you a raise for that amount of time.
How many of those lieutenants and captains do you think would stay if the turnover was lower in the firefighter ranks and they had proper people underneath them trained to do the job?
Yeah. Well, but I think some of that problems too if we're going to talk about particularly the civil service,
Mhm.
I, I think a lot of those supervisors
Mhm.
don't want to train people. I think they want those cush positions
Mhm.
for the rest of their lives. And
Yeah.
part of the problem is that civil service world is drastically changing right now. Like and that might be one of the problems with
Mhm.
the shift in the turnover rate too,
Mhm.
is because like for as a police officer, they're asking things from police officers that
Mhm.
are way out of the.
Yeah.
But it's not that we can't get on scene
Mhm.
and say, I'm that's not my job. I'm not going to do it
Yeah.
because obviously they call it with an expectancy for
Yeah.
the police officer to get on scene and do something about whatever is happening. But it's
Right.
like, I was never trained on how to do this. Like, I'm just like, sure, I'm just a person that's lived, so
Yeah.
I might be able to handle this.
Yeah.
But I think I think that's one of the things too, and I think one of the problems is that, like I said, some of the older lieutenants or captains or something are in these positions and see these positions. They've
Mhm.
always seen these positions as push jobs until their
Mhm.
retirement, and now with the shift in how things are,
Yeah.
newer people are needing and wanting to be in these positions also, and they
Yeah.
need to promote up. But if they promote up,
Mhm.
then they, change happens and nobody wants to change and
Yeah.
blah 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 blah. So I think that's part of the problem too, is that some of these people just don't actually want to train people up to be place them.
Yeah. I really hope that's not true. I
Well, I know it's true though.
I know
We
it.
absolutely
I know
know
it.
it's
I know
true.
it. I know it's true as well. But like, it is. It's vitally important, and this goes in private organization or civil service. If you want to move up,
Yeah.
all right. First off, there has to be a position, and there has to be someone to fill your position.
Yeah.
If you're not training those people,
Yeah,
To-
then it's gonna
Mhm.
fail.
yeah, it's going to fail. And so, in your opinion, let's say that you are a person new to an industry or just a young guy or girl going into it, and you get promoted before you're ready. Okay.
Mhm.
Now that you're older, what would your advice be to a younger you that wasn't ready to be a leader and is now put in that position?
Well, I think a lot of people's problems is reluctance to do things new,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would just say embrace it.
Mhm.
It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
I think I think in doing that, if you are given the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
because I do believe it is an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
to be a leader, then and you don't feel like you're ready, someone did.
Yeah.
Someone at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself speaks volumes
Mhm.
in terms of that. And so just take it for what it is and take the job seriously.
Yeah.
And try to be and have an understanding of what they're asking from you,
Mhm.
and just try to do that to the best of your ability. And
Yeah.
then because it's just like having kids.
Mhm.
No one's ready to have kids, and
Yeah.
so the same way, no one's truly ready to take on any, especially a new leadership
Yeah.
position. No one's gonna. I don't feel like anyone's truly going to be ready to take in a leadership position, and you will be surprised at how different of a boss you
Mhm.
find yourself being than what you expected.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that being clear and concise when you talk to the people in charge of you,
Yeah,
and finding out what the expectation is,
yeah,
and then being clear and concise to the people that are underneath you what that expectation is,
Yeah.
right? Like that would be huge. Also, find somebody
yeah.
who's not even at, like, maybe they don't work for the company, but find someone with life experience and ask them,
Yeah.
you know,
what to do. Yeah,
or mentor. I feel like we don't mentor enough as a
Yeah.
society anymore.
but I think the reason is exactly what I was just talking about.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the reasons is either we want to be done with the people,
Mhm.
and so we leave the organization and we don't want to mentor because we
Mhm.
don't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Or because we don't want that person to eventually take the position that we have.
Right.
So like,
Mhm.
like, so if I am a sergeant in the military or a
Mhm.
police officer or whatever, I don't want to train up the next sergeant because he might promote to lieutenant before I do.
Right.
And or he might become, or we might both be
Mhm.
trying to become at the same time.
Right.
Now I don't want him to take the job that I possibly have.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem with that. But
Mhm.
like as a an FTO now, one of my things is like I want to train everyone to
Mhm.
do the things that I like. I want them to be at the exact same level I'm at.
Yeah.
Because for one, it just helps the workload.
Mhm.
If you can do all the things I can do,
Yeah.
then that means that I don't have to do all the things I used to only when I was the only person that could do those things.
Yeah.
Or if there was 3 of us, now there's 4 of us.
Yep.
You know, and so that's my feeling about that. It's just like it's a share of the workload.
Yeah. And I think civil service is a lot bigger animal when it comes to that, just because like our responsibility is to the community.
Mhm.
And like the better everyone is, the better the community
Yeah.
outcome it will be.
Well, but I think
And-
it even. Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, that's all I was saying is like it, especially in the civil service world, like the focus of the individual should be on how do I make the department better for the community that I'm serving.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but I think the same. They go back to the part of GameStop because
Mhm.
I think that if people trained, just like the idea about going to a place like GameStop
Mhm.
is that it's nerds selling nerd things to nerds.
Yeah.
And
It's a community. It's
yeah, it really
it's
is.
way more community
But it's
than
not anymore.
it's not, no.
It's just dudes that needed a job.
I think GameStop needed to close a long time. But
Don't,
that
man. It's like, well, it deserved
Mhm.
to get to the point that it is now.
Yeah.
Because of some of the business moves that
Yeah.
that it
I
made.
love stores. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying
yeah.
the idea of a GameStop style store should live on. I just think GameStop is way past its
Yeah, well, because you look at
its shelf life.
look at Game Exchange.
Mhm.
Somehow, I don't even know if people go to those. Somehow, it's still around.
Yeah.
It's still surviving.
And there's like little mom and pop,
Yeah,
places too that pop up, But back to the leadership thing, because like you said something a minute ago that I think is super important. Being okay with failing.
yeah,
Just because you mess up or you make a wrong decision, that doesn't make you a bad leader, right?
yeah. Of course.
What does make you a bad leader is how you handle that failure after the fact.
yeah, yeah.
Whether or not you try to pawn that failure off onto someone else, or whether you own it and try to fix the situation as
Mhm.
quickly as possible,
Yeah, or try to sweep it under the rug.
or try to sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
Like that is one of my pet peeves as
Mm-hmm.
like when I'm working under somebody. If you try to start pawning off your problems
yeah, on me.
that
yeah.
you've caused on somebody else
Yeah.
and then try to blame them, oh dude, that's
Yeah, and that's that's a problem that I have with people. Having
Mhm.
some of those sort of instances too, and I think, and going back to one of the biggest things that I think that a leader needs is is truthfulness, transparency.
Yeah.
Is because we've seen on the news and stuff like that all the time where either a president or a senator or Putin, I don't know, all these people, like these scandals
Yeah.
will happen and stuff, and it's like, oh, that never happened, and then a week later
it's like
a video comes out and it's like
Like-
literally doing that thing, and
Yeah.
it's like, and I think in most of those instances,
Mhm.
it would have been better for them just
Just
to be like, yeah, at one point I was a horrible person.
Yeah.
But like that's what we do as people. We grow.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're trying to hide it. So maybe
Maybe
you're not a
you're
different
not-
person. Like, are
Yeah.
you still doing this?
Yeah. Dude, that is especially for like politicians.
Yeah.
Like the standard that I expect out of a politician so low
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
like-
it's wild.
And the
to
fact
think
that you're lying about something that like if you just came out about it, it'd be like, that's
it's like it's not great, but like at least like because I think there's a thing too. It's like because we've all been
Mhm.
Early teens, 20s, and
Yeah.
not saying that we all do wild and crazy things in life, especially some of us that didn't have as much money to throw around
Yeah.
to do those wild and crazy things.
Mhm.
But we all haven't, like, there's an expectancy that we did things that we regret.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe not regret, but at least things that we are a little bit ashamed of or
Yeah.
something or whatever.
Dude, that's a whole nother topic.
Oh, completely. But just like
that's
if you could just say,
Mhm.
yes, I
Yes, I
did
did.
this.
Yep.
It was a mistake.
Yep.
It was something that happened and I
Mhm.
learned from it. And
Yeah.
and like I'm a better person because of it.
Mhm.
Is that changes the whole spin of everything. But it's like
Yep.
no one wants to admit when it comes to
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. And so that's what like me like that's why I say again, truthfulness and transparency is just
Yeah.
like you messed up. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, you messed up my pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that it was supposed to be done that way.
Mhm.
Getting it fixed right now.
Yeah.
I'm not mad anymore. Like I do the same. The same sort of thing happens like with like customer service sometimes because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a reasonable
Oh.
person.
Oh.
Feel like I'm a reasonable person. Whenever I get somebody on the phone,
Mhm.
and like it was the other day, I had direct deposit set up for
Mhm.
my mortgage,
Mhm.
and I guess for some reason it didn't go through.
Mhm.
Maybe I didn't set it up. Maybe I did.
Okay.
I had a conversation with the person at some point.
Yeah.
And I told them that I wanted them to take this out of my bank account on a certain day.
Yeah.
They did or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, took them
Irrelevant.
out of my
Yeah.
account. So I call. And when I called them, I was like, hey, blah, 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 this happened. And it was days after that because
Mhm.
I didn't know that it wasn't going to get taken out of my account, obviously, until days afterwards.
Yeah.
And so it's days after this. And I was like, hey, yeah, I set up the direct deposit. I guess it didn't get taken out.
Mhm.
So I wanted to get it taken out. And the person was like, well, it's past the due date for it. So you're going to start incurring charges and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but direct deposit. And they were like, well, that's not direct deposit. That's called something else. It was just a timed payment. I'm like,
Okay.
I'm trying to give you money. Why are you arguing with me? Like, I am calling you today because I'm trying to pay it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to argue about it.
Yeah.
Like, I was supposed to at a certain day at a certain time. And then he like just kept arguing with me. And I was like, hey, I don't want to talk to a manager. I just want to talk to a different person.
It's a different person.
Just not you. Because you
Yeah.
clearly don't know what's going on. And then I got to another person and then they were like, see that you did set this up. Well, it looks like the person didn't set it up. They said that you were going to call in and pay. And I was like, oh, a small,
Yeah.
We weren't on the same page. And she
I've
was
been
like,
on the phone way longer than I needed to.
yeah. And she was like, we'll set that up right now. And she was, and then we set it up and I paid it. And no other problem. And that's just like, and that's the sort of thing though that you want from a
Mhm.
leader is, and I'm not saying that this person was a leader. She might have made a good leader.
Yeah.
But the problem is just that she saw a problem,
Mm-hmm.
recognized the problem. It wasn't even her that set that thing up.
Yeah.
She admitted,
Yeah.
the company did this.
Yep.
Sorry about that. There was just a misunderstanding.
Yep.
We'll fix it.
Yep.
And that's all you got to do.
That's it.
And I was happy
Yep.
about that. I was
Oh.
very unhappy with the first dude because I'm like, hey man, I know what happened.
Dude.
Like you definitely didn't get the money.
Yeah.
I know that because I've got way more money in my account than I'm
Yeah.
supposed to. And
Dude.
it's just like,
I had a similar, not really similar. I had an
Yeah.
experience because like I will lose my cool on like bad customer service. Like I am usually calm, cool, level headed.
Yeah.
Not when it comes to bad customer service.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I had an issue with a large, big orange construction store. Not too long ago where I ordered a item online.
Yeah.
And I literally drive an hour to go pick it up. And they sold it in the time that I was driving. And it was the last one.
Yeah.
They bring a manager over and he's talking to me. I'm like, hey, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
And he goes, gets on the computer and he goes, oh, I just refunded your money. And I go,
What even asked you to do?
I said, that's not what I asked you to do. I asked, what were we going to do about getting me the lawnmower? Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh.
Yeah,
He shrugged his shoulders at me.
Oh man,
I just saw red for like 4 hours.
that would have made me so mad. Like I don't think it's possible. Like I know turning Super Saiyan's like not a real thing, but that would have definitely made me like feel like I could have.
Like
That's
I got back to the car and I got on the phone with corporate. Like I was like
Yeah.
so mad. And I apologize to whoever I talked to at Home Depot because
Yeah,
I was not nice.
Oh, everybody would have gotten it free. Every single person I talked to.
But yeah, like just
Yeah. Like,
to kind of end this, this episode with
Yeah.
like just be clear and concise, and this even outside of management, be clear and concise, and be okay with messing up and own your mistakes, and find out the best way to fix it quickly.
Yeah,
It'll
well-
get you a long ways in life.
Well, and I think another important part of it too
Mhm.
is, and maybe this is multifaceted, maybe make
Mhm.
this a little bit longer than needed to anyway, is the friendliness.
Yeah.
I think you can be friendly,
Mhm.
and that's important,
Mhm.
but you're going to piss people off,
Oh, 100%.
and you're going to piss actually you're going to piss everyone off.
Mhm.
At different times. Like
Yep.
you should never go into work on a day and everybody's pissed at you unless there's
Yeah.
some sort of a huge issue or something.
Yeah.
But at some point, as a boss and as a good boss, you're
Mhm.
going to have to make decisions that people don't like.
Right.
And it goes back into the other things, being clear, concise, transparency, and things of that nature. Is hey, we're behind sales, or hey, man, we were supposed to be done with this part of the house
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
You have to finish this
Mhm.
today.
Yeah.
You have to stop being on your phone,
Yeah.
or you have to,
Mhm.
that angle isn't good enough.
Yeah.
That's going to throw off the rest
Rest
of the
of the
roof.
Yeah.
Those sort of things you're
Mhm.
going to have to do. And when those times happen,
Mhm.
take those for what they are,
Yeah.
and do them. And
Yep.
don't try to be, like you said, like you
Mhm.
had a friend that was, I've had friends too that were
Mm.
supervisors or managers of me,
Mhm.
where I was like, hey, don't care for friends.
Yeah.
This has to happen,
Yeah.
and you have to do this.
Yep.
And I think when that happens too, sort of to your point of when you said that you misspoke and said weak, and I
Mhm.
think when you do those, I think people have the respect for you, and
Yeah.
they because I think one of the problems that we do have too is that a lot of times, especially if they are
Mhm.
friends or if they worked alongside us at one point and then they promoted,
Yeah.
we don't look at them as supervisors. We
Yeah,
look at them
that's
as
hard.
coworkers.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be cemented
Mhm.
into the fact that, hey man, I know we were working together at one point, or I know we're friends, but
Yeah.
I have a job
Dude.
to do.
One of the best bosses I ever had, I was also friends with. And the day they got promoted,
Yeah.
it was a conversation of, hey man, look, I know we're friends. And outside of work, we're still friends. But here we have to change the way we interact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it
Absolutely.
is
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
and
true.
it's crucial. Like it affects everyone when they see biased and
Mhm.
like it's just
Well, because and the thing is too, and I think I know who you're talking about,
Mhm.
and because the thing is too is like if you're too friendly, or you
Mhm.
spend your time with this one particular
Mhm.
boss, or that amount of time, even if anything happens good to you,
Mhm.
they're gonna think
You
it's because of
biased.
that.
Yeah.
And then, or even if, and as people, can't not do the
Right.
bias thing.
Yeah.
And so you
It-
have to sort
it's
of,
so hard not
yeah.
to treat your friends differently. Like
Mhm. Yeah.
it's extremely hard and it takes a lot of skill to get over that.
Yeah.
But to kind of close, let's kind of close off this
Yeah,
episode.
that's
Guys, I thank y'all for listening, and please, share us your stories of your worst supervisor or boss experience. That would be fantastic. We'd love to see those. But y'all have a great day. Thank you.